It's a pretty fitting name, isn't it? The Big Pig Trap. Looky who it is. Got another single boar hog, an angry male. I've had this guy on trail camera on the other side of this field for probably, off and on for probably a month. There's a sow that's got some babies, but I don't see her very often. Every once in a while they'll come through, but he wants out of that sucker. They do not like the daylight. Once it gets daylight, they know that sun right there will cook them, and they won't last. Like if I left this pig in here, within a couple hours he would probably be dead. But I got a really good travel corridor. They come right off the neighbor's property under the fence. You can see they've used that a ton. But Josh is on his way, and we'll get this guy loaded up and get him out of here and quit stressing out a little bit. Today's actually only well, last night I guess was night 2 of having this trap set here. So first night, never saw anything. Last night I got a notification on my phone. I don't know the times. I'll put the videos on the screen and all that stuff and show you timestamps, but I got a notification, picked up my phone and saw, hey, there was a pig there. So I went to the live mode and there was no pig in the trap. I was like, well, that was weird. So downloaded the video, and it was like he came in and said, ah, and took off. And then a few seconds later, there was a deer. So I figured the deer, hopped the fence or something, spooked the pig. And it was like an hour and a half later, he finally came back. And I watched him on camera for a couple minutes, and this guy was spooky. I don't know if he's been trapped before, somebody's tried to trap him, or if he's seen some pig traps somewhere. But he did not want to come under that trap, and it took a long time for him to get in there. And even when I dropped the trap, he was very skittish, and he's ready to get out of this thing now. You want out, buddy? So the other day on my last video, someone commented, and when I said a boar hog, which is a male, they said, I thought all boar hogs had tusk, and you couldn't see any tusk on the pigs that we had caught. If you'll look at this guy, he's just a young pig. He's probably not, maybe less than 2 years old probably, but he's just starting to grow tusks. So they will get tusk. And if we put this guy down, I could show you, he's probably got tusks that are 1 inch long, maybe at best, probably less than that. But it takes a long time for a pig to grow a substantial tusk. Here, there you go. You can see how his lips starting to curl up. So he doesn't have any tusk that are visible, you know, long, like you'd see, you know, in pictures of a big old pig. But they are there, and if you got in that trap, he could definitely use them to rip your leg wide open. There ain't no doubt. Come on, buddy. It's a pretty fitting name, isn't it? The Big Pig Trap. Here comes your ride, buddy. Your Uber has arrived. Be sure to tip your driver, okay? He's ready to get out of here, though.
He is. I can tell.
He's he's stressing out, getting a little hot. He may need some water. Need a good hosing down.
Big and full down here.
Yeah, I had to grease the poles the other day. Oh, there he goes. I had to grease the poles the other day because I think that was my issue why my trap wouldn't want to drop right.
Yeah. I can feel it.
There's you some shade. Josh will get you some water in a minute, I bet you.
Yep.
Go hose you down. All right, have a good life.
Yep.
All right, I'll come back over and rebait and reset the trap later today. Could do it while it's nice and cool this morning, but it's 7:46 and yesterday was the first day of school. Was trying to get this done before Houston had to be in school today, but DJ had to leave and go ahead and take him. But I've got to meet her in town so we can go to the gym. So I'll come rebait the trap, reset it when it's, you know, 105, whatever. It's going to be hot as usual. But I'm telling you, dropping that trap on these pigs never gets old. Someone asked me the other day if I'd ever kept a running total of how many pigs I've caught in these big pig traps, and the answer is yes, because Big Pig Trap works in conjunction with Hog Eye trap cameras. So it's two separate companies, but when you buy a trap, it comes together. But the Hog Eye camera system has a website, and you can actually, you know, keep up with everything online. And that pig last night was number 90. Now I know I don't catch as many pigs as Yacht. David Ellis is a certified 100% redneck professional pig trapper, and he's got multiple traps, and he traps commercially for other folks. If you've never checked out his channel, go watch. It's crazy. He caught the biggest pig he's ever caught. Well, I don't know if he caught him or if he shot him the other day. I saw a picture of it. But anyways, I'm just doing it for personal stuff. I trapped on a couple buddies' places back during the winter, but that was pig number 90. And almost all of them have either been on this property or my Mill Creek place. I caught 17 on my buddy's place a few miles away, and 12 on his brother's place. I think it was 12 back during the winter. So not all of them have been from here, but that was pig number 90. And just like that, we're back. You guys didn't even know. We went to the gym, went to kickboxing actually with my wife today. They kicked my butt. Ain't nothing worse than being in a room with 20 women and they're all making you look like you're out of shape and old, and you know. Anyways, made it home. It's 11 o'clock, 91 degrees. Not too hot yet, but it's gonna be miserable later. I'm gonna go ahead and reset, rebait the trap. Like I said, I don't have a ton of pigs here to catch. Just one or two here and there. There's a sow that I know is in the area and her babies. I don't know if they'll come to where the trap is, but they have been just a few hundred yards away, so there's a good chance. I think after lunch, Houston's in school, so I don't have to go on a fishing trip today. I think I may fire up the skid steer and do some work with the disc mulcher. Sounds like a good plan. All right, locked, loaded, and ready to go. No need to drop the trap for a test drop because, well, we tested it last night and it worked great. So maybe someone else will show up to play soon. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like it's a long time since we've done any kind of skid steer work. Mostly because it has. And now that school's back in session, it leaves me with several more hours of free time during the day. So I've got a lot of projects here that I need to get tackled. A lot of projects at Mill Creek I need to get tackled. But I still have quite a bit of work, several hours of work, on my neighbor's place under the NRCS program that we signed up for. Still waiting on their historic burial grounds, Native American burial ground search to make sure there's not anything that's going to prevent us from doing work on that property. But in the 2024 and even 2025 work, they said we can continue to work as long as we don't disturb the soil, like with a bulldozer or something. So the forestry mulcher or the tree reaper or whatever we want to use on the skid steer is just fine. I don't know if this thing's ever going to fill up with diesel. It holds a lot. But anyways, I'm going to go work on some of that because I've got an air-conditioned cab. And it is very hot, if I haven't told you guys. So I'm going to have to keep a close watch on the skid steer because running that forestry mulcher, hey, we finally filled up. Running that big disc mulcher, forestry mulcher, is a very high RPM. Takes a lot of force to run that machine and a lot of hydraulic flow. So I'm going to have to keep a close watch on my hydraulic fluid temperature because with it being over 100 degrees, this thing could get pretty hot and I don't want to overheat it or overheat the oils. So if you've been a follower of our channel for any length of time at all, you know this is one of my favorite machines in the world. I love running this thing, and it just feels like, you know, you remember the movie, I think it was Aliens, wasn't it? When they had the big robots that they controlled with two joysticks and well, that's kind of how I feel operating this thing. So just for reference, because I know some of you are going to be curious, this is the field that you saw us clear several months ago before the big tornado came through and all that. And, you know, we're out here working during the eclipse and everything. Our little pond is not doing well. It never really does. It needs to be cleaned out. But anyways, this was the field that was completely covered in cedar. And where I'm going to be working today, we're going to go through this gate. And there's a maybe 5 acre area in here that I want to clean up. I'm going to mulch some of the smaller ones. Some of that stuff may be too big for this thing. I mean, there's some pretty big sized bodark trees in there, Osage orange, whatever you guys call them. But for the most part, we're going to attack cedar trees and smaller brushy bodark trees. right, so this right here is a prime example of what needs to be gone out of this pasture. So this used to be a good cattle grazing pasture out here, and some of it still is. There's decent grass. It's got some weeds. It hadn't been sprayed in a couple of years probably, but this is a perfect example of what this program through the NRCS is for. So this is a bodark tree, Osage orange, horse apple. Everybody calls them something different. A lot of people use the wood in these trees to build bows. It's a very hard wood. But as you can see, that little bodark tree popped up, and as it grew, birds landed on the limbs and pooped out cedar tree seeds. Now this one bodark tree, which the bodarks need to go too, but this one bodark tree probably has a dozen small cedar trees around it. And that's not the only one. I mean, they're all over the place. I've knocked down those bodark trees over there. Some of those are too big for my machine. But in just a few years, you won't even be able to walk through this pasture if we don't get it cleaned up. So let's knock it down. That was going to happen. Well, I'm making a little bit of progress. There's a lot of areas that have bigger trees than what I really need to handle with this machine. Sometimes the hard part for me is knowing the limitations of my equipment. So I don't want to overdo it, but I've taken out most of what I can. Oh, look, there's a deer. Look at that. This big bad machine really scares off all the livestock, all the wildlife, doesn't it? The deer's probably, I don't know, 150 yards from me. It's like a mama and a baby, actually. I think I saw another one on the other side of it. Yeah, for sure. Huh. That's pretty wild, isn't it? Anyways, I think I've done about most of the damage that I can do right here for now. So what I'll do at some point is go back and get the grapple and put on this. Probably not today, but get the grapple and come back and pile all this stuff up so that when we do our big prescribed fire through here, we can just burn them up instead of leaving them where they lay. That's kind of what happened to this property. I'm not sure, 10 years or so ago. They got on the same program and had a company come in and cut down all the cedar trees, but nothing ever really happened. They weren't able to get in and stack them and burn them. They didn't burn the entire place, and where every cedar tree fell, 4 or 5 more grew up in it, and it became a mess. And there's a lot of the property that we still have to clean up that's going to be tough, and that's why we're wanting to use the bulldozer. Guess that means the deer are happy here, right? I can't even hardly scare them off. Hey, Charlie, did you get much work done today? Any work? No? You just walk away from that word. Now, that a 4-letter dirty word you don't like? Not very chatty. It sure is cooler down here in this shaded bottom, but man, we are pretty well out of grass in here. It's still pretty green. I've kept this is the back end, so obviously back here by the equipment shed, but the back end of the goat pen, which there's no goats in it right now, but it's greening back up after as horrible of a shape as it was in, having donkeys and goats and everybody packed in it while we had to redo all of our fences. But shade doesn't grow grass very well, but it is cooler. I really like my neighbor's property over there. What do you see, buddy? You looking at something? I really like my neighbor's property. She's got 160 acres over there, and there's a lot of timber, but there's a lot of grass in that. There's a big open field out in front, and I think, I wish we had a huge Bermuda grass pasture like that. Our donkeys would absolutely love it, but Charlie, you are being weird today, buddy. Huh? What do you want? I don't even understand what you got going on here. He's just being goofy. What? Would you quit biting me? Here comes Phoebe and the rest of the gang's hanging out back there behind. It's hey, it's a hot day, and these animals just don't do a whole lot when it's this hot. But I think I'm gonna have to put out a bale of hay. Because it's hot and dry, and we had a pretty good rain last weekend, got a couple inches. But as you could tell by all the dust and dirt and stuff flying while I was on that skid steer, it doesn't take long to get bone dry again when it's as dry as it was. What's the matter, Phoebe? You not getting enough attention? Charlie won't get out of your way. I know, Charlie likes attention too. Charlie, when you're acting like this is why Mom doesn't like to go in the pasture with you. Because you just get pushy, and I don't know. Not being mean, you're just pushy, aren't you? Here comes Farrah. And then we got Phoebe and Farrah. Here's Brandon. And a couple scallywag slackers back there. Dude, you got to quit biting me. Nobody likes that. Phoebe, that goes for you too. Ouch! Watch it. Quit. So, I'm going to make my way back up to the house, do all the chores, feed everybody. But successful day, I would say. Caught another pig. Maybe we'll catch a few more in the next week or two. Hope so. They just keep coming. It's like these pigs just keep coming. We can trap them all, but as soon as we do and lay off for a few months, they move back in, and that's just part of it. Those wild hogs can, I've been told they can have 3 to 4 litters of baby piglets a year. Well, if they have anywhere from 8 to 12, that's a lot of pigs, and they multiply very quickly, and they're very destructive. So always glad to get rid of a pig. And another successful day of not breaking anything on the skid steer. Yeah, it's a good day. All right, guys, remember, do something today to make somebody smile, because you never know. It just might change the world. So, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. You guys have a great day. And as always, we'll see you on the next video.